And we are live for another streaming Alternative Money Mondays here on with our YouTube family. Coming to you from the lowland coastal area of Georgia with Caitlin Lance from Creative Coast, where we create, code, and collide. Of course, I'm Jeremy Fletcher, co-founder of Ledgerama, builders of Walla Wallet, the original, the safest, the trusted mobile wallet in the HBAR and Hedera ecosystem. My main man, Tim Mungai, our community manager. Pleasure to see you as always, brother. Captain Brando, one of the OGs in the space. Happy to see you here today as well. Always a pleasure. Hope you brought your DeFi hat. I know that you're one of the seasoned veterans in the DeFi space for us HBARbarians. So glad you're able to join us. And of course, the guest of honor, the man of the hour, Coffee from LeemonSwap. Super happy to have you here. Thanks for joining us for part 2 of another awesome interview on Alternative Money Mondays. How's it going?
Thanks for having me again, man. Really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys can put up with me long enough to have me on for 2 full hours,
Well, we're all about quality. So happy to have it. No. There's it's a pleasure to have you for sure. The more that I read about LeemonSwap, the more that I dig in, the more excited I get. You've assembled quite a team. And the tokenomics, the roadmap, I mean, everything's just looking gravy, and your the awesome branding too is just always puts a smile on my face. So happy to have you here.
I can tell you that to tip of the hat to Captain Brando over there. He's more of a help in getting the team together than I was in the beginning, to be honest. So he definitely got us to the place that we're at today.
Awesome. Yeah, Captain Brando is one of those glue guys, keeping this ecosystem together, making those connections and making it all stick. We need people like that in the ecosystem badly, and Captain Brando is a good one. He's also practically a neighbor here in the lowland coastal area, so not just a hop, skip, and a jump down the coast from us. So so we're not so unfortunately Brandon the HBAR Bull is not able to join us today. He's doing some traveling, so he's not able to join us. So I will just real quickly run through the Market Monday stuff, and then we'll jump right into it. So the total market cap completely flat, like 100% just crab walking for 7 days. We went from 934 billion total market cap to a total market cap of 934 billion. So the 7-day completely unchanged, totally flat in total market cap. Bitcoin up 1.5% from let's see, 19,280 to about 19,550. So pretty much flat also. And HBAR doing all right, a little bump, a little green arrow in a sea of largely red. So up 4.3% on the 7-day. From just under 6 cents per HBAR to just over 6 cents at 6.2 cents per HBAR.
And that beats the alternative of down, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. So in the midst of all of this, there's been a fair amount of drama and turmoil in markets, especially over the past several months. So to see HBAR holding its own, gaining momentum. I don't know. I feel like the sentiment is really changing towards the Hedera ecosystem and HBAR. We've been kind of an outlier for quite a while. I mean, even though we've been well positioned in terms of total market cap, I just think that there's been some kind of mental barriers for people to come into it. Worries about centralization of the network and perhaps more generally just kind of a lack of utility, lack of action, lack of DeFi action. The NFT space on Hedera has kicked off quite well over the past few months, so we're seeing a lot of momentum in that arena. But I think largely, DeFi being really the hot ticket item in cryptocurrency over the past, year and a half. And to have that lack being felt in the Hedera ecosystem, I think that's definitely one of the reasons that we may not have garnered as much attention, but that is picking up steam. And so that's part of the reason that I'm just super, it's awesome to have the Coffee from LeemonSwap on here to talk a little bit more about it, because there is some awesome stuff coming down the pike, and it looks like it's coming down this week. So before we jump over to Coffee and the LeemonSwap stuff, just real quickly, don't forget, folks, that if you're watching from the YouTube live audience, stick around. At some point in the show, I'm going to give out a magic number. I'm going to change it up just a little bit this week, so stay tuned. stay on the show, and you'll get your magic number, and we'll have one winner in the live audience of $25 in AH-bar. And the way, basically, you're going to give us the magic number, and there's a little another kind of secret question I'm going to ask, and you send the responses in to info@wallawallet.com, and the first person to fly in with the correct answers will receive $25 in H-bar. So get your email clients ready, because man, these people are fast. The folks that know that we do these giveaways, they are on it. So you got to be fast. All right. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I had a couple of items on the list here, Coffee, that I wanted to talk about. Let's start off with the Launchpad. So there's a couple, there's one item on here in particular that I think the community is going to get really excited about. But let's talk a little bit about the Launchpad first. So basically, if folks that saw part 1 of the interview with LeemonSwap, we went over a whole bunch of the kind of the ins and outs, the kind of nuts and bolts of how LeemonSwap is going to work, the tokenomics. But we didn't get to a few of the important items that I wanted to cover. And one of those is the Launchpad. So, Coffee, if you could tell us a little bit about the Launchpad, what the mechanics of that are like, things like how will LeemonSwap select and vet the projects that are coming in. I've got a handful of questions about that, but if you could just kind of give me a general overview of the Launchpad and what that's going to look like. And you're on mute, buddy.
He's speaking.
I was talking to myself. Really good example of existing Launchpads would be, Spooky Swap, Pancake Swap, and Spirit Swap from Phantom as well. Really what the goal is to give grassroots projects a platform in order to get recognition in the ecosystem and launch their pools. Essentially, all we would be asking from them is a minimum in liquidity provided for their pool, as well as, I guess, a faucet, for lack of a better word, of their platform token or protocol token to give to our XJuice stakers. So essentially, if you stake your juice into XJuice, you'll be able to then also stake your XJuice into the launch pools. Now, we're kind of going back and forth between this. We may pool all of the projects into one large pool where you would earn, your weighted percentage in every single token that's available. Or we can do it individually like the existing protocols that are out there. I think it really comes down to how many different projects there are. I suspect in the beginning it may be a pool because it may only be a couple projects.
Sure.
In the future, when Hedera is exploding and there's 10, 15 projects trying to sign up at a time, we would be able to split it out into separate pools where you can stake to your desired project. But going to how we will vet them, in the beginning, it'll mostly be the LeemonSwap team. We're hoping we can partner with somebody that could help us audit these projects. Obviously, as it gets larger and there's more projects trying to get on board, it's going to be very difficult for us to look through every single one. Sure. With the type of due diligence that we're going to need to ensure that there's no rug pulls. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be a couple that slip through, just like every other platform. The goal is obviously not to have any, but can't guarantee anything that's not in our control.
Right.
So, I'm trying to start talking to Headstarter. I know they have a DeFi alliance with Stater and Saucer Swap. So I think that's a great partnership for, what they did. That's definitely something that the community can hold some validity to. So we would definitely like something similar to that. But first and foremost, we're working on our DEX and our DEX aggregator. We have to launch with a product. That's what we're focusing on rather than some of the bells and whistles. But I can assure you that we will definitely have a partnership that will assist in that regard.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's important.
What gets me gets me excited about these launchpad that LeemonSwap will provide is the goal is to actually grow Hedera, and what grows Hedera is having a lot of activity going on, especially in the DeFi space. So providing these opportunity where protocols can be supported, that means the whole ecosystem will benefit. More people will know about Hedera, all the efficiencies and all the good stuff that come with it, and all of us will win eventually. It will be awesome to see that happening.
Right. So, Coffee, what do you think? So, Coffee, Captain Brando, either one of you, what do you think is I think, well, obviously an active DeFi ecosystem, I think, is hugely important for drawing people from other platforms. But any thoughts about, what the best way to kind of extend the olive branch, build the bridges? I know Hashport's doing great work with, with their bridge to, it was Ethereum, Polygon. What other networks are on there, Brando?
Oh, I think they just added BSC, right? I haven't been on there in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he just added BSC and BNB, and
Okay.
they keep adding. They're moving pretty fast over there. I love it.
Right.
Yeah, they're adding pretty much any token from those platforms. So, you can add any ERC20 token, any BSC token, any Matic Tide token through their bridge. I think something that's missing from Hedera that's going to be necessary for further DeFi adoption and the growth of more use cases is an Oracle, something we do not have yet, and it's going to be completely necessary for what we see on other DLTs like Phantom or Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum. So that's first thing is getting that Oracle. Once we have the Oracle, we have the EVM capability already. So from there, the sky's the limit. We can really add whatever use case or functionality we want that's been done before. A really popular one is yield farm pooling. There's a lot of protocols where you put your LP tokens together and they essentially farm them for you on whatever's the highest APR at the time. So that'll be something that's really cool. Lending, obviously, synthetics, and then whatever real world use cases the enterprise governance members come to market with, whether that's bonds or real estate, what have you.
Right.
But bridging that gap between traditional finance and DeFi is definitely something that Hedera is trying to do and definitely will be able to do.
Yeah, I think lending and borrowing is going to be a big one once we get there also.
Oh yeah, and that needs the Oracle. So first things first is the Oracle, and then after that, whatever we want to do, really.
Right. Yeah, I know the team S1Bit. Actually, one of our local folks, Saltic from S1Bit, is working on an Oracle solution. Haven't really heard much from him in a little while on progress, but Coffee, are you aware of any others that are working on solving that problem within the ecosystem? Might be a great use case for any projects that are out there looking for a problem to solve.
Well, I know, Chainlink's on the governance council. I don't know what their progress is on building a Hedera Oracle. I'm sure that they need paying customers in order to justify that investment into the research and development needed to build that Oracle. So I think really what it comes down to is partnering with those projects that are going to need the Oracle, and then kind of presenting it to these prospective Oracle providers and being like, hey, look, we've got XYZ product that wants to use an Oracle. You guys got to build one. So that's the first step, and that's what we're working on ourselves.
Gotcha. So for the Launchpad, what do you see as being the unique benefits for folks that come for projects that want to use the LeemonSwap Launchpad?
Yeah, I mean, really what it comes down to is getting that publicity, getting that recognition. You want to be able to launch your token without having to go through the arduous pre-sale that we are doing, for instance.
Right.
It makes it a lot easier to get your product out there, get your token distributed, and you don't have to do all these gimmicky marketing techniques to spread your token out. And that's a huge part of decentralization. You want to be able to reach the highest number of users in the shortest number of time and get your token out there in order to be as decentralized as possible. So that's really what we're offering. It's not something that's too novel. It's been done. It's going to be done on Hedera, but being a DEX aggregator obviously helps tremendously with that. Seeing as we're going to have every single pool available on Hedera, we see ourselves as what's going to be the premier DEX. Obviously, we have to come to market, and
yeah. And for folks out in the YouTube audience that might be a little bit curious, we might be throwing around some language, or you might have some questions about something like, as an example, the aggregator that Coffee was mentioning. Highly recommend if you folks have questions, or if there's anything you want to do a little bit more deep dive on, check out our last video with LeemonSwap. I believe it was from, I want to say it was the 28th. It was right there at the tail end of September. So check out that interview. We did quite a deep dive into some of that stuff. So if folks have questions about stuff like the aggregator, please feel free to jump in, and check out that previous interview. Questions, or if there's. So I've noticed that the admin fees on some of these launch pads can get pretty high. What do you think, in your mind, Coffee? What's a fair rate from the before I forget it, in terms of visibility, right? You mentioned that your approach in terms of getting other projects visibility may not be particularly novel. However, I will say, as somebody that's been in the Hedera ecosystem since really the earliest days, you've amassed quite a talented team over there. Some super OGs. I'm not going to do any name drops or anything like that. But for folks that might, wonder, well, why is LeemonSwap going to be well positioned to provide the visibility to these projects? It's a high caliber team. There is no doubt about the caliber of the team, and I have 100% confidence, zero doubt that being able to really put these projects up on a pedestal and put them in the limelight, give them that visibility that they need. Have no doubt that the LeemonSwap team is going to be able to do that. But back to the question on the admin fees. In your opinion, what's fair for a Launchpad provider in your opinion?
So I might be a little biased. I don't see a Launchpad as a means of revenue that's sustainable. So in my eyes, why give an administration fee? There's really no reason. It's going to restrict the amount of projects that come on and want to launch.
Sure.
Really, the only gate here is, the product that you're building and whether or not you have the liquidity. We're not trying to take a portion of that liquidity. We can benefit just like any other user from staking ourselves. So we're not looking to take a portion of it. I don't think anybody should. I don't see any benefit really, and it's not something that is going to grow your platform, so to speak, or grow your treasury in any meaningful way. Anybody that knows anything about DeFi, the best and most sustainable way to hold your treasuries in stable coins. You don't want to have a ton of volatile tokens filling up your treasury. So a lot of these projects, they take their admin fee in whatever the project token is, and then they end up selling it directly back to their own DEX and taking stable coins or their platform token, which dilutes the the token price, obviously, for those projects, and it ultimately ends up hurting them in a price action stance. So
Right.
yeah, I don't see us taking an admin fee. It depends on what our partnership is. You know, maybe our partner, as part of their payment, requires that, but from the LeemonSwap perspective, we will not be taking an admin fee.
I love it. Yeah, a lot of platforms out there kind of building with that, you know, with this kind of maybe 2, 3, 5-year window outlook tops. And you know, I get the sense that, you know, that LeemonSwap's in it for the long haul. So you know, not looking for the, you know, the unsustainable sources of revenue, just really laying the groundwork for something that's going to be sustainable and something that'll be around for the long term. Good to see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole premise behind our Juice Black Hole. It's to extend the emission runway indefinitely, and our rewards for liquidity providers will be on par with, say, PancakeSwap, where they have continuous emissions. So that is the plan, to do 10, 20 years of emissions.
Awesome. So I do have a couple, some questions about governance, but before I jump over to the governance topic, any other questions about the Launchpad or anything else that you wanted to say about the Launchpad coffee?
No, nothing for me, unless you guys got any other questions I can
Okay.
answer.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump over to the governance then. So let's talk a little bit about governance. How is the LeemonSwap governance structured? Our tokens, so we're going to have governance tokens. And are they going to be time weighted? Or are they just basically going to be weighted on in terms of volume, like a 1 token, 1 vote, or some kind of combination of volume and time? How are the tokens and the governance thereof going to be structured?
Sure. So we're going to have 3 separate versions of the governance token. The first being XJuice, the second being untoggled VXJuice, and the third being toggled VXJuice. And the governance power for each of those tokens, respectively, would be 1 vote, 4 votes, and 8 votes.
Okay.
So the toggled VXJuice holders are going to have the strongest governance weight, and their voting at first will be used to determine the weight of the rewards for each incentivized liquidity pool, as well as the sell tax that's levied on the Juice token. We will have, you know, maximums and minimums in order to keep people in a certain range. I don't see the tax getting very high at all. You know, people are always going to want to offload risk. Initially, we'll probably control that within the team, and then as the platform grows, we'll push it off to the community itself. But you know, the classic governance system is that for the weights of the emissions to the incentivized liquidity pools.
All right. So yeah, go ahead.
Question on something he's mentioned about the sell tax. Of course, I think I read that somewhere in the light paper, but I don't mind some elaboration. Is it some sort of percentage, the sell tax, or does it vary on some other metric? How does it work?
So the sell tax itself is going to be dynamic. It's going to be based off of market conditions and volume. So we want to incentivize people to toggle lock their VXJuice, but we also don't want to bar people from being able to offload any risk they have. So it's going to be a happy medium between those 2 conditions. Excuse me. And it really is going to have to be something that's determined probably on a weekly basis. But going back to what your comment was, yes, it's going to be a percentage of every swap of Juice to another token. So if you swap Juice to HBAR or Juice to USDC, a percentage of that swap will be taken in HBAR or USDC.
And so not having a whole lot of experience in the DeFi world myself, with the governance, how does that work? I mean, so are the users voting from a dashboard, or how is it that what's the actual execution of the governance look like?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few options out on the market right now for other DLTs. I suspect that they will add Hedera soon. Like Snapshot's a really popular one. I know that Galaxy also open sourced a voting mechanism as well, so that's something we may look into.
Excellent.
But you know, it's not something that's strictly needed for the MVP. We're not going to have a crazy amount of incentivized pools straight from LeemonSwap at launch. It's something that's going to grow over time, obviously. So
Right.
As the choices begin to expand, that's when you need to give the opportunity to the ecosystem to vote on it. So we see it as something obviously that's necessary, but not something we're exactly focusing on as a must for the MVP.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You've got to trim and prune, and yeah, for an MVP, yeah, you've got to keep it simple. That's what I've been told, at least. So, all right. So, if, of course, as usual, if there's any other questions about governance, and Tim, if you wouldn't mind popping in on the audience to make sure that that there's no questions that have come in about the Launchpad or governance, because otherwise I'm going to go into another topic. But before I go into the other topic, I'm going to take this quick minute to give our magic number of the week. All right, and we're also going to have, so just to spice it up a little bit, we're going to have a question for the audience as well. All right, so the magic number of the week is 934. So 934 is the magic number of the week. And the question that I've got, so all right, so it's related to, it's a feature of LeemonSwap, something that's meant to attract, so something that's intended to increase in mass and attract new users and projects and retain the ones that are already there. So difficult to escape, easy to get sucked into with a lot of mass. There's a feature of LeemonSwap that I think, I see Tim smiling. So if you know what the answer is, think mass, think attraction, think difficult to escape, and send your answers in to info@wallawallet.com, and the first one to fly in with an answer is going to win $25 in HBAR. And again, the magic number is 934. All right, so without further ado on this one, I think this is definitely something that I know that's generated a lot of excitement. I'm seeing it flying around in different social medias, and it's coming right around the corner if I'm correct. So the NFT presale. So this is something that we hinted at a little bit in the last interview, and I've heard you in a couple other interviews since. You're a busy guy these days. I know you are. So just wanted to take a quick minute to thank you for your time and joining us, because I know you're super busy with everything that's going on. I'm sure you've got quite a lot on your plate. So the NFT presale, yeah, Caitlin, if you could go ahead and just click on the image just to kind of make it a little bit bigger for us, that'd be awesome. Thank you. If it'll come up. If not, that's okay. Maybe just can zoom in on it or something like that. But okay, so just generally, what can we say about the presale? I don't know if you want to. I don't know how you want to do a copy. If you want to start off with when it is, or how it works, how people can participate. Let's get the skinny on the NFT presale, because I know people are jazzed about it.
Sure. Yeah. So it's starting at noon Eastern time on October 19th, which is Wednesday. So we're offering 3 different tiers of varying cost, ranging from $250 to $3,000. With each purchase, you'll get a portion of VX Juice tokens, as well as a nominal percentage or a smaller percentage of Juice tokens on top of that. And then as well with that, you'll get a free Lehman Collection NFT, which will be coming out when we launch our platform. Now, those NFTs, among other utilities and giveaways, you'll be getting an APR boost for any liquidity incentives that you provide. So if you add liquidity to a LP, you'll be able to earn additional weight if you hold one of those NFTs, the LeemonSwap NFT collection. And we're also doing a full set discount, so to speak, on the token cost basis. You'll get a 10% boost in both VX Juice tokens as well as Juice tokens if you buy the full set. I will say we are not offering a single click purchase on a full set. You will have to buy each NFT individually. And the main purpose behind that is to, increase the game behind it and make it more sought after. Basically, you're going to have to probably participate in more than one round. So the first round is October 19th. We'll be providing 120 NFTs for purchase, 60 tier 3s, which is the cheaper option, 40 tier 2s, which is the middle option, and 20 tier 1s, which is the top option. We will space the rounds out.
Hey, Coffee.
Yeah.
I lost you for a second there. How many tier 2s and tier 1s did you say?
Tier 2s 40 and tier 1s 20.
Okay.
What was I saying? Lost my train of thought there.
So yeah, you were saying that there was no one click.
No one click
full set.
Yeah, you got to buy each of the NFTs individually. The first round is October 19th, and the rounds will probably be spaced anywhere between 1 week and a couple weeks between each one. So if you don't get the set on the first round, you'll be able to get one on the second or subsequent rounds.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So when I found, oh, go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead, Tim.
Will there be any benefits to the holders of I see that dead pixels, those creamies?
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
you're breaking up just a little bit, Tim.
I heard him. There's
okay.
He asked if there's a benefit for dead pixels and creamies NFTs holders.
Right.
So if you hold one of those NFTs, creamies or dead pixels Ghost Club, we will be giving an airdrop of VX Juice tokens. We have a third project that's going to also have that benefit that we will be announcing tomorrow, Tuesday. So
cool.
Look out for that. We will have a spaces to announce that partnership. So that's pretty exciting. There will be other utility for those holders, but we haven't announced any of the exclusive giveaways that we'll be doing for those.
Oh, and so of course I didn't do my due diligence here. Of course, for the audience out there, of course, none of this is investment advice. There are necessarily risks, when you get involved with highly volatile risk assets. So please do not take any of this as an investment advice. We are people on YouTube sharing our opinions, educated opinions though they may be. This is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only. So please do not take any of this as investment advice. All right, so I just had to do the little spiel there. But yeah, and I got to say that, way to gamify it, because I saw the full set. I was like, all right, cool. One click, I'm going to get the full set. No, I've actually got to play the game. And that's, and it does, it increases the anticipation and the excitement. So I can't say that you were wrong to do it, because it's real, but I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think you've got, and I think you're with the limits there. I mean, 120, 40 and 20, those are some pretty small numbers. So you're going to have people chomping at the bit. It's going to be a piranha pool, like a pool of piranhas out there trying to get their hands on these things. But that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's the hope. So
right,
we'll see what happens.
Right. So how can people participate? So So I'm guessing the ownership of the ownership of these NFTs now. Oh, so the NFTs, so the tier 1, 2, and 3, right? So is there do you essentially acquire some kind of NFT that just is essentially like a utility token that's going to give you access, and then that will kind of gate you to getting the NFT itself, the Lehman. I'm forgetting.
Yeah, it's essentially a voucher.
Right.
So you're buying a voucher that when you turn it in, it allows you to get the VX Juice tokens, the Juice tokens, and the Lehman NFT collection NFT.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And just for the record, we will have a different name for the LeemonSwap NFT collection. We just haven't we haven't internally agreed upon the name. So
fair enough. That is can be a time-consuming part of the process. As simple as it may seem, right? Just picking a name, like what's in a name, right? Well, it's actually there's quite a bit. So, yeah.
I mean, branding took us the longest out of all of this. But the other thing I want to mention for the tier 3 pre-sale NFT, you'll get a random LeemonSwap NFT collection between three different tiers, for lack of a better word, either generic, rare, or legendary. For a tier 2, you'll get a rare NFT, and for a tier 1, you'll get a legendary NFT, which is the rarest, or the I guess, for lack of a better word, the rarest.
Right. Got it. And what's so okay, so this is coming right around the corner, people. So keep your mark your calendars, set your alarms, get ready, because noon Eastern Wednesday. So basically in 48 hours minus 47 hours and some odd minutes. It's going to be game on. So mark your calendars. And what's the best way for people to participate, Coffee?
Yeah, I mean, best way, join our Discord, get in touch with the community, ask questions that you have, follow us on Twitter for any news. We have a Telegram announcement channel as well, so you can hop on that if you prefer Telegram. And then, just get a part of the pre-sale if you can. Right.
Yeah. So Discord. So hop in the Discord, and we will definitely be leaving the link to the Discord in the description below. But I don't think people have any trouble finding it. If you just Google search LeemonSwap, it's going to come right up. And of course, the links to the social media platforms are right there, nice and easy to get to. So awesome. Coffee, thanks so much. Is there any? So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap it up, and we're gonna give away some jam tokens to our Twitter family here in a minute. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we go ahead and move on?
We could go back to governance for a little bit if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. No, please.
A very popular thing right now are DAOs. So everyone wants every protocol to be a DAO. And something that I want to caution the community on is the usage of the word DAO and what it really means for something like a strictly online protocol. I mean, you see DAOs being created in the real world that are legitimately DAOs. What's that? Is it Karate Combat?
Yeah, Karate Combat.
That is 100% a DAO. There's also a project out of Utah called Upside DAO that is onboarding new DAO projects. Those projects that they're creating are 100% DAOs, and they're usually bridging Web 2 projects to Web 3. So essentially, that is the easiest way to have a legitimate DAO. Now, when you are talking about strictly a Web 3 project that is all online, it's very hard to get to the point of it actually being a DAO because someone has to gatekeep the code base. So there's always someone, on the team that is part of that decision to, update the code or to adjust the code in any way. There's ways you can decentralize it, but for it to truly be a DAO, it would be completely separated from the founding team. So I don't personally see any DAOs in existence in Web3 that are legitimately DAOs. Obviously, that would be a fantastic thing to move towards, and we certainly at LeemonSwap are going to move towards a DAO governance. But it's one of those things that it's really hard to attain. You know, it's really hard to get to. So
Right.
we'll
Easy
see.
to call something a DAO, but maybe not so
Exactly.
easy to, yeah, right. Yep.
Exactly. A lot of people like to call themselves DAOs, and they're not even really DAOs. And,
Yeah, I think most of them are partnerships.
yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. So we'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully, there's a better process of doing it that comes to light. But for the most part, right now, we'll be focusing on our product exclusively, and at some point, we hope that we can move towards a DAO governance model.
Excellent. Yeah, very reasonable. Yeah, I like the reasonable measured approach. That's something that that Rob and I have always taken, quite a measured approach to what it is that we're doing. Looking for survival in the long term and just being specific, with language and being clear about what it is that we are and what it is that we're not. So, so a lot of respect and appreciation for the approach that you guys are taking over at LeemonSwap.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. So Tim, who have we got for our Twitter family? Who's going to win the 10,000 jam tokens this week? Love doing this every week. It's an opportunity for us to get these tokens into the hands of others so people can just see how fast and how efficient and how cheap it is to move around Hedera tokens within the Hedera ecosystem from wallet to wallet. It's so fast and so cheap. I love giving these tokens away. Who we got this week, Tim?
Yes, we have at _killswitch _ and of course we have to make the formal announcement and DM you in case you haven't associated the token ID as yet. And I'm wondering, maybe they can respond to this question on YouTube later, the comment section. Do you guys use the jam tokens to test out Tune FM, the streaming service?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because
so
that's the whole point. It's a utility token. That's the whole point. They could test the product out, the service out. It's amazing.
Right, and yeah, and I look forward to having Andrew on here. Andrew and I have talked a few times, and we just haven't been able to make it happen so far. But I do look forward to having Andrew on here because I know that there's some burning questions out there about the jam tokens, and what the Tune.fm team is up to lately. Last time we talked, there was some talk about the Jam Fest and that being a great utility for the jam tokens. Also, an opportunity for us to do some interesting and creative things with NFTs. And speaking of, gosh, I would be completely remiss if I didn't mention, so folks out there in the YouTube world, so Walla Wallet has been in open beta, and the application is currently under review by the app stores. So we are doing a soft launch. We're not doing a whole lot of marketing and announcing just yet. There was some major changes with the Golang SDK, the Hedera Golang SDK. And so we're taking a cautious and measured approach, but we are soft launching, and of course all the the more official announcements will come within the weeks to come in the very near future. But Walla Wallet with vastly improved user experience, and we now support an NFT gallery, really the evolution of Hedera NFTs with support for multimedia files, YouTube links, file nesting, so you can attach videos. I mean, this is all the properties. So we support the OpenSea specs with all the properties, rarity coming right around the corner. So please get out there. If you're out there, and we'd love you to get your hands on the newest version of Walla Wallet and give us some of that feedback. Send your feedback over to info@wallawallet.com. Get in there, get your hands dirty, and let us know what you think. We know that we have got a long road and a long way to go to be, to increase the usefulness and utility of Walla Wallet, but we are still the safest and the trusted mobile wallet within the HBAR ecosystem. I was just seeing today some really positive comments flying in from the community about the safety and security, and that being of high priority. So, we are a small team and we may not have been the fastest, we may not be the flashiest, but if you want rock solid stability and bulletproof security, Walla Wallet's a great wallet is a great choice. And we're looking forward to adding all those bells and whistles and being a nice attractive wallet as well as a useful wallet. So give us a test and let us know what you think. And if you enjoy the show, of course, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit that notification bell. Most importantly, though, leave us a comment. Leave comments. We love seeing the comments. Let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show. Give us a thumb up, thumbs down, whatever it is. But don't just be apathetic and sit by on the sidelines. Let us know what you think. We certainly appreciate it. And again, the jam winner for this week was _KillSwitch. So KillSwitch will be reaching out to you over Twitter to get you your 10,000 jam tokens. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. The YouTube audience, you guys are awesome. Tim, if you would just make sure that we're not missing any questions before we go ahead and sign off. I don't want to miss any questions coming from the audience because those are super important. Captain Brando, thanks for joining us today. Pleasure to have you.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Caitlin Lance from Creative Coast, where we create, code, and collide here in the lowland area of Georgia, South Carolina, Jacksonville. We take it all. And my man, Tim Mungai, our community manager from Kenya, hailing and doing a good job as always. Thanks, Tim. And Coffee, thank you so much for being here. I'm just, I'm chomping at the bit to get my hands on this NFT presale. The tokenomics that you guys have set up is phenomenal. I mean, it's one of those that if there's a project to be excited about in the Hedera ecosystem coming down the line, I think LeemonSwap is it. And I know you're a busy man these days, so thanks so much for taking the time to come by and see us.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. Let me know when you guys want me to come back on.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely. You're always welcome as a panelist. So as HBAR Foundry members like Captain Brando and yourself, you're always welcome to join the panel. And we will definitely keep up and stay with the updates and invite you back just as often as we can. So again, thanks everybody out there in the YouTube audience. We appreciate everybody. Don't forget to check out if you want to check out the README on the latest version of Walla Wallet. There's beta.wallawallet.com. You can check out some of the information on the open beta, and we're going to be soft launching here as soon as those they may have even been approved already. I'm not sure, but I haven't. I've been getting ready for the live stream and haven't seen any of those emails flying in. But Walla Wallet soft launch happening this week. Thanks again, and don't forget, noon Eastern, Wednesday, the 19th. LeemonSwap NFT presale. Come and get it. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.